Welcome to the Persistence Pays podcast. I'm Sean Taylor with my co-host, Joe Shaw, an author of the book Persistence Pays. Today we're talking about something every entrepreneur understands, even if they don't always say it out loud. The hustle, the grind, the long days, the tight cash flow, the pressure to produce when no one sees the sacrifice. If you're building something from the ground up, if you're carrying responsibility that most people don't see, if you're determined not just to survive, but to scale, this conversation is for you.
What does a productive day actually look like for you? What's one of your days? Because you've had a lot of success in hitting goals, exceeding goals. Mm-hmm. Talk about what it looks like, and then talk about how you treat your people.
So from a general sense, I would say a productive day for me, is accomplishing all of the goals I've set for that day. So that's a productive day for me. So in a sense of how I accomplish that, for one, I make sure I take care of my people, number one. I create somewhat of a family environment in my offices that I oversee. I get the opportunity to get to know my people beyond just what they do for us at the job, right? So I'm inquisitive of the things that can, so that when someone comes in and they're not quite themselves, it's like, hey, everything okay? Everything's going all right, So that way you
right.
you have a
connection.
You have a connection with them, right? Number one. Number two, I make the things that are important to them important to me. You know what I mean? So if you're having struggles in the day, if something's causing you a roadblock or something like that, I take that with a sense of urgency. It's not like it's something that I'll get around to doing. So for example, I have guys that are routed all over the city, and they were telling me, man, they route me, from here to there, and it's taking me, I'm calling them schedulers right now. Let's get them on the horn and let's look at what's the challenges with that and what's causing this, because you have to have a sense of, and when they know that the things that are important to them are important to you, then they're more willing to take on the responsibility of the things that they need to do.
What I call that is being responsive to their need.
Exactly.
They got a need. You got to be pragmatic.
Exactly.
You can't just wait and say, I get to it later. Right now is when they have a need.
They got the need now.
And if you respond to their need right then, that shows that you're listening to them.
Well, exactly.
They're being heard.
Exactly.
They're being valued.
Exactly.
You're showing them that you appreciate what they're doing for you, because you're getting in what they need to make their job easier for them to produce more.
Exactly.
So, but if you just kind of, flake them off, I get to it later, or you don't even listen to them, then they know he don't care nothing about me.
Exactly. Exactly.
He don't care a thing about me. So that is, if that's a part of your day from the beginning of the day, mm-hmm. and that's a part of what, is how you operate, mm-hmm. then people will see it and they'll appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because one thing for sure, people are always watching us.
Oh, yeah. From home to work, everybody. If you're at home, your children watching. However you drive, that's likely how they gonna drive. You know, if you're at work, the things that you do or the things that you prioritize, especially if you're in a position of leadership, that's what your people are gonna prioritize.
And in the book Persistence Pays, I talk a lot about leadership, mm-hmm. because that's what we lack. Mm-hmm. And we need leadership more than anything now.
Oh, definitely.
In this economy.
Exactly.
You need people that know how to lead, because think about it, Sean. A lot of people come to work, they deal with all kind of stresses. They don't need to come to work and you make it worse on them than home. We know your home should be your refuge. Yep. But in many cases, for a lot of people, it's not.
Well, too, you gotta, especially what I find with a lot of businesses, they don't put the day-to-day grind in perspective. So, and when I say that, I'll say this. So, for example, and this may not sit well with a lot of business owners to say this, but this is a reality that everybody has to come to grips with. People don't live life to go to work. They work so they can live life, right? But a lot of business owners expect the frontline employees and the people that are completing the work to have the same mindset that they have, same vested interest in the success of the business as they have. And a lot of times it's not the case, because I'm doing this so that I can go live life, because that's what's important to me. Right. Get what I'm saying? The business is important to you as the business owner because it's your baby. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. It's almost like when your children are at school, right? Like, Yeah, it's important. They're important to the teacher when they're in front of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the teacher ain't coming to the house to watch them when you go out and about, right? Because again, they're your children, right? And so it's the same with a job. Like you know, they're working a job. You own a business.
Right.
So in understanding that, it helps you to align, you know, expectation and effort with what they're looking for.
Right.
So that way you can understand what's important to them. So for example, a lot of companies say do more with less, right? Well, what that translates to an employee is I got a larger workload now with less resources to do it, right? My job just got harder, right? But it's how you present these things to employees that get the buy-in from them, right? Because I tell my guys the same stuff. We got to do more with less, right? But I tell it in a way that still respects what they, you know, go through in a day and what they have to get accomplished in a day, and the fact that they're doing this so they can live life, not living life to do this.
Well, and the very fact of what you're saying is sometimes business owners don't go to the workers and ask them how to do the job better.
Exactly.
What could I do to make this job better for you?
Exactly.
You may just need to change the schedule.
Exactly. Or a different person may need to do a different task because it's more, from a workflow perspective, more efficient for this person to do it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If I receive material and you enter it into the system, but I have access to the same system, it just might make more sense for me to enter it in the system as I receive it, right?
Right.
Than to pass it off to you, and now you have a stack of stuff that you have to enter that I've already touched. You know, I mean, those are things that are simple and pragmatic that, you know, would reduce workload on everybody. It's the same work happening. You're just changing who's doing it.
Right. And so when we do assessments, that's the kind of stuff we look at.
Exactly.
Because you may not see it. You're too close to it. You may not see it. And they may not see the benefit of letting somebody else do it. It's not that we don't try to get rid of your job. We're trying to make your job easy.
Exactly.
I'll give you one example is we talk about it from a safety standpoint. We call it administrative controls.
Okay.
And if you're the owner, you have the administrative controls. So you can say what time everybody come to work.
There you go.
If everybody agree, if y'all put in windows and it's hot, what if we could start at 5 o'clock instead of 7? That's 2 hours, and we get off now instead of at 3:30. We get off at 1:30. You're not fighting the traffic. You did the work when it was cooler. Now you're not as irritated. You're getting home quicker.
Yep.
And if everybody agree on that, and you can make that administrative control, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Well, I can't get that early. Well, give them the key. Let them open the door. Whatever.
There you go.
But if you're the only one to open the door, get there earlier.
Well, exactly. That's the intentional act that shows your people you're concerned about what's important to them. Because if work-life balance is important to you and starting earlier is important to you, me not coming shows a conscious effort to not be concerned about the things that are important to you.
I think I give a good example of one of the benefits of COVID-19.
Yeah.
A lot of people went to working at home. And man, if you can work at home, what about your overhead?
Exactly.
My company overhead now is your overhead. Now, if I'm a good employer, a good employer, and you work from home, I may give you a little extra because you're using your lights and all that to do my work. But a lot of companies didn't do that. They reduced their overhead, and what they found is the people was more productive.
Yeah. Because you don't have the distractions a lot of times.
Don't have distractions. Plus, you weren't on the road for an hour going to work and an hour in traffic coming home.
Exactly.
So that's more productive time.
Exactly.
Plus, people didn't have to get up. If you're not having to be on a meeting on a camera, you just be casual.
Exactly.
So it's those kind of thinking outside the box, being more open to what the employees have to contribute, and showing, hey, I'm listening to you. I value what you're saying. I'm going to be very responsive and go ahead and do it right now while we're talking about it.
Exactly.
So it shows you in my daily operations, I care about you. It's not, and it becomes a way of doing business.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talk a lot. You and I have talked about it. And some of the people that's listening may have heard of 2190. When I'm doing the training with the skilled workforce groups on doing orientation, I give them a card, and it's got keys to success.
Yep.
One key is focus on the details.
There you go.
And so we talk a lot about focus on the details. We talk about how the best ability is availability.
There you go.
So I don't know how, I don't care how skilled you are, how much knowledge you have, how much of a contributing factor you are to the company. If you don't show up,
Yep, exactly.
what good are you?
Exactly.
So the best ability is availability, but we also talk about 2190. And I asked a young man Monday when we were training, I said, who knows about 2190? And he broke it down really good. He said, it takes 21 days to develop a habit.
Yep.
And after 90 days, it becomes a part of you.
Yep.
And if we can help people understand that concept, then they can start making some habit changes.
Exactly.
That's going to end up being a part of them. And then they get 90 days out. I mean, in sports, they call it muscle memory.
There you go.
If it becomes muscle memory that you do it from the time you start your day to the time you end your day, you're doing the same things and you're doing it every day that way, it becomes muscle memory, and then it becomes who you are. That's your character.
Exactly.
And people say, oh man, I know Sean, you know, it's just who he is.
That's where the Mamba mindset comes from.
That's
you know,
it.
with
That's
Kobe
exactly.
Bryant. Yeah.
That's exactly.
It's the exact same thing.
Now, what I think what frustrated him was he had that mindset, and a lot of people around him didn't have that
Exactly.
mindset. And so everybody's not gonna have the Mamba mindset.
Exactly.
The good leader is going, how can I bring them along though?
Exactly.
You know, how can I bring them along? Because we going somewhere, and if they need to be on the bus,
Yep.
then we need to bring them along. And so a good leader will develop some habits that helps them to be very consistent. And so when we see you, man, we know that's Sean, man. He gonna make sure we get what we need. We're gonna have it. If he can't get it, he's gonna call somebody.
Yeah.
And make it happen. So that's good.
And you want to lead through motivation and inspiration. You don't want to lead with the stick. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's a lot of people's method to accomplish a goal is, hey, if you don't do it, this stick coming. But a lot of times you want to lead with motivation and inspiration rather than the stick, you know? Again, once the people understand that you care about them and that their problems are important to you, then when you have to have them put in the extra effort or they understand it's coming from a good place. You get what I'm saying? It's not just you dumping more on my plate, you know? It's like, hey, I understand that this is what's necessary for us all to benefit because this is mutually beneficial to all of us.
Well, you make a good point about how you lead. Of course, there's an old saying about giving them a carrot.
Yeah.
You know, they used to take a carrot and put it in front of a horse, and the horse is running trying to get the carrot. Well, every once in a while, you got to get a horse the carrot.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't keep chasing this carrot and never getting it.
So you know, you can make promises to people.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to fulfill some of them promises to keep them motivated.
Well, exactly.
You know, so whatever it is that you're saying, hey, you bring value to me, I appreciate it. You got to recognize them with some money.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, you got to give them something to show that you appreciate them in a tangible way. It could be a gift card.
Exactly.
It could be a gift, but something that they can take home and share with their family.
Exactly.
I give gift cards a lot.
Because that's what you're doing it for.
But when I give the gift card, particularly if I give it in front of a group, I try to really make it a big deal.
Yeah.
But the way I try to do it, if I give you a gift card, I talk to the group and say, hey, I want to let everybody know Sean did a great job. We met our goal. Matter of fact, we exceeded our goal. And everybody knew how important that was. We're going to give Sean a $500 gift card or whatever. Now, don't spend it all on yourself. Take your wife and your kids out to eat. You know, let them know, you know, how much you've been working overtime to help us hit this number, but show them that you appreciate them. So when we can do those type of things from a recognition and a reward and make it very specific and even kind of suggest how to share it with their families, you know, it makes a big impression with workers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember I used to work for DirecTV back in the day, and, you know, we had two issues we were dealing with. We had a budget issue where we were spending like $30,000 a month dumping two 30-yard roll-off dumpsters, you know, multiple times a week. When I looked in there, what I found is most of it was corrugated cardboard and metal. I got with 2 recycling companies, right? And I got a baler put into the warehouse, had them break down had the techs break down the boxes, and I had them throw the poles and the old dishes and all that in the metal recycling.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right? And so the rebate we got back from those, I would use to buy gift cards to recognize people and to motivate people to do different, performance, for performance, for meeting different performance goals. And it was really good because the program was framed as, hey, if y'all break down these boxes, then we can get the revenue from it to be able to, do things for you guys.
Right.
So this is a program for you, by you, right? And then utilizing those resources to meet the goals, to do raffles, to do giveaways, to buy breakfast for them, to have cookouts, so when you coming in for inventory, we can, barbecue and, everybody get burgers and stuff like that. And these are things that you don't normally get, right? So these are things that we're doing to show you we appreciate you, right? But then companies have to make sure that they back those things, because what ends up happening is, oh, y'all making money from that? Well, shoot, that's revenue right there. And then the gift cards go away. Then the cookouts go away. And now that money is budgeted in out in a budgeted line item on the P&L. And so you gotta, it's gotta be a balance. You gotta make sure that you're giving as much as you're receiving. You know what I mean, from an employee perspective. Yeah,
and I think part of that's your leadership. We always talk about you got leadership from the top or lead up. So everybody in that whole leadership org chart needs to be on the same page. So you're actually practicing what you preach.
Exactly.
You're actually putting your money where your mouth is, if they say.
Exactly.
That's good.
As we close this conversation, I want to leave you with something simple. This podcast exists because experience has value, but only when it's shared. If you've carried responsibility, if you've made hard decisions, if you've recovered from setbacks, then you understand something important. Success isn't accidental. It's built on standards, built on systems, built on consistency over time. My hope is that Persistent Pays becomes more than a podcast. I hope it becomes a reference point for disciplined leadership, a reminder that structure protects vision, and proof that steady execution outperforms hype. If you've been listening, thank you. If you're building something under pressure, stay with it. Stay accountable, stay focused, stay persistent, because in the end, persistence pays. I'm Sean Taylor. Until next time.